Okay. Alrighty, let's see here. Got everything going. Let's get mic check. Let me get him on over to here and dude, what the heck? You're having all sorts of dude, you've got to mute. I don't know what's going on, man. Dude. Hey. That is some crazy feedback. Hey, Kane, man. Kane. No. What are you doing? Why are you biting your mic? What's happening?
Saint?
Yeah.
What'd you just say?
I saw you attacking your mic, like biting it and stuff. What's going on, bruh?
This is the mic?
Yeah.
This is how are you listening to me then? Because I've been chewing on this for like 30 straight minutes.
Well, I'm not. I had to switch I had to throw the switch and basically change your audio circuit from here. I had that wired up a while ago just in case something like this happened.
Oh. Damn it, Pappy. All right. Full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bet with Pappy Snuka.
Okay.
That he told me to bite this until I couldn't see it anymore.
Okay.
Because he believed that even though Enzo Amore was in a shark cage, we would still hear him throughout the entire match. And I said, no, because there's no mic up there. He's in a shark cage.
Okay, so first of all,
goddamn one.
First of all, Enzo is a loudmouth and a blowhard, so of course you were going to be able to hear him from there. Secondly, why would you bet using the thing that I need to hear you with and what we record with the podcast on, bruh?
Oh, right. That's right. We have a podcast. All right. Well, forget everything else. We got to go into this, and more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, this is Red. We're welcome back. My man, Comedy the Fan Saint, your boy over here, Kane Super Watts Nigga, and this is Off the Roots. Edition of Off the Ropes. I'm your man, Kane Super What Snooker, and I got my man over there from Nolan's Comedy the Faded Saint. Whoo! The biggest something of the summer, because my God, ladies and gentlemen, we had NXT Takeover Part 3 and SummerSlam all in the last, I would say, 48 hours. And whoo boy, what some stuff occurred. Once again, NXT, I mean, I think I have to say right now, before we go anywhere, in full disclosure here, NXT, great brand. We love the stuff. We've ranted about it a couple of times already in the past about how it's getting too generic when it comes to the matchups and all that really matters, the pay-per-views. But this last few months, some serious stuff has been going down, some good quality build-up has been happening organically, and they're noticing it, and they're keeping it inside House of NXT. We're going to discuss all that, talking about TakeOver Brooklyn. And we're going to talk about how we got some, likes and dislikes about SummerSlam. A lot of people around the whole WWE universe are pretty much on the same board as us. Of course, we're going to give you our spin on it, because that's how it is over here at Off the Ropes. From the top rope to the topaz to the whatever Amaro wants to say when it comes to the topaz lariat SK Bushka over the rope thing that he always likes to say every time.
Topaz Suicida!
Very true. Speaking of that, let's go right into the segue from my man over there. Kami, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy. We went a whole month without having like a pay-per-view, and I actually went into this with feeling fresh, and I'm ready for it.
The big question: how many beers did you bring with you today?
I have 3 beers with me today.
Oh.
I have half a 6-pack. So we're going to see how that goes. But we are talking about SummerSlam. We aren't doing a heads up because it is a joint brand, which means, of course, we are starting off with the Takeover Brooklyn 3. And as always, Takeover typically has the best matches, but recap for those of you who are at home. If you remember, we were kind of ticked off, and we'd kind of had enough with Takeover as of the last event because they were doing
recycling pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. They were just doing too much, bruh. It was really, really just starting to become way too. I think I said something in the neighborhood of they had gone 8 months with 4-for-1 heels winning. And they had gone 6 months. 6 months with 8 months for 4-for-1 heels winning. 6 months with those same heels staying undefeated. And we will get to some of those matches, but beginning Takeover,
pause right there, Saint. We do have to say one thing before we start the actual stuff, and that is the build-up. NXT, one of the biggest problems I say before when we start about it is that it's a match versus a person in a match, bump, 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 someone wins. That seems to be the formula that most of these matches are. Bury any build-up. But in this case, they really did bring the building game in here. Sanity and Authors of Pain had a great build-up. Same thing with Rude and McIntyre. Great build-up. All these things are just fuming at hitting at the gates, ready for battle, making you very much interested in actually watching these matches as opposed to, oh, it's 2 good wrestlers fighting. And that is what I liked about this come into Takeover. So I figured we had to set that tone before we even talk about the first match.
And that's a good tone to set. And of course, the first match was Cien Adonde, whatever his name is, versus the returning Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano.
Did he change his name? Because it's usually Cien Delete Amos or something like that.
Yeah, it's still that. I just can't be bothered to learn it.
Okay.
I can't be bothered to learn it. I really can't. It's one of those things where why bother? Because he is not needed.
Truth.
So,
but this is still it was a pretty good match.
It was, and it was one of those things where it was. I'm trying to think. It was Johnny's first match back from his injury that they had been building. Yeah, back from the split. Adonde, I mean, again, there's too much wrestling, so I haven't been keeping up, but it seems like he has turned into quite the heel. Who is the lady who is with him nowadays?
That's a good question. Off the top of my head right now, it's killing it. Folks, remember, we try very, very hard not to use any internet-related searches during this time frame because we want to go fresh from our minds or perspectives, so do apologize if we don't have the names 100% correct. I guess it also flares to the whole humor behind when we make fun of names and stuff. But in this case, yes, I do know who you're talking about. That is the current NXT heel that runs this deal kind of situation he's going on.
Oh, you know what? I know who she is, and we will get to that in a second. I know exactly who she is because, I mean, the match was snappy. The thing is with Cien, nobody bought him as a face. Nobody bought him, when he was like, "Hey, it's Cien," and so he kind of lost his mind a little bit, and he just went heel. And Johnny, of course, is the sympathetic heel. He got himself some new music with some lovely lady vocals. He hit all of his signature moves here. Cien was, doing the heel thing. The match was overall crisp. With Johnny Gargano, you're always going to get great technical wrestling, and with Cien, you're always going to get great high flying wrestling. But the end of the match came when Johnny was about to go for the football kick. The lady in white who, by the way, like I said, I know who she is. She's actually Ciampa in a lady suit.
Is that why you threw the DIY shirt at him?
Exactly, because he threw the DIY and like he like Johnny. That was like Johnny was like physically recoiling from it after the match. Like it was Ciampa himself.
One hell of a transformation, I'll tell you that. One hell of a transformation, if that's the case. By God, Maggle.
By God, Maggle. I mean, it was great. And following that. I mean, overall, it was a great match. The ending.
The one thing I have to say is Cien Almos' attire. One of the things I really liked about it is he's got these fists where his knee pads are. So when he does his finisher, it kind of looks like he's doing a double fist to someone's face. And I think, in a way, because Shinsuke is up on SmackDown, that they kind of passed the torch for that whole hammer for knees to Cien Almos, because man, when he throws that finisher, it looks like you're going to be beheading somebody.
Damn.
That's right.
But I mean, Cien Almos over Johnny Gargano. I bet nobody saw that coming. And that brought us to our next match. Surprisingly, they save all of the title matches for last. Not so in this case, because second up we had, and the graphic is going to be a little bit misleading, but that's the graphic that they gave me. It was the Authors of Pain with Precious Paul Ellering versus Sanity. It was Desmond Wolfe, not Killian Dane. It was actually Eric Young. With Killian Dane and Nikki Cross on the outside, and this was
perfect display of how a faction overruns a manager. It was great.
It was pure chaos. I mean, it was like a brawl to begin with. They were playing mind games where when Desmond Wolfe went for the tag, they thought it was going to be Killian Dane, but then Eric Young jumped up and grabbed it, and then came in and. Sanity became the faces kind of in here, which is kind of...
It's questionable because it didn't look... It was more like two chaotic... It was like chaotic neutral and chaotic evil were fighting. That's how I felt.
It definitely felt that way. It was one of those things... It was one of those things, though, where it had to be that way because you're not going to get sympathy for the guys who broke up DIY. DIY.
But also, you're gonna be more poppy and bubbly with Sanity when you got things like Nikki Cross... where they have the ref distracted and Nikki Cross decides to do a flying plancha off the top rope into one of the I think it was Tokar that and he was like holding him and she was like holding him. I mean, he was holding her because
and then Dane crossbodies all of them into a table.
Right into the table because the table was set up out of freaking nowhere, and it was just I think it was from the Tommaso Ciampa match. I'm not even sure, or Gargano match. I mean, I think that was where the table came from. I don't even recall them sitting.
I think Nikki set it up. If I'm not mistaken.
But Nikki, another fantastic women wrestler. I hope
she deserves to have the women's title, but that's going to be an argument we're going to have in a little bit.
Yeah, but going back to that though, you had the constant fuckery that was going on when it comes to the matches between all four members of the match. And what's great about this is it definitely sounded like you needed every member of Sanity to really take down AOP.
Yeah, and it lets them be strong.
Yeah,
it lets them be strong. But overall, new tag team champions. Sanity, who are going to be New Day in that shit.
Sanity the Vanity.
But it was very short-lived because in comes Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and they beat the ever-loving hell out of everyone.
That seems to be the prologue to on story that's going to continue down the ropes as we go through this pay-per-view. But thoughts on this, man, because I don't know. I love AOP. I loved AOP first when they first came out. They were a little ring rusty. I mean, they were green, I should say. They were green when we first saw them. But ever since that 2 out of 3 match with DIY, they were just not 2 out of 3. That was Revival.
The elimination
the
match.
Threat. The triple threat elimination. They just skyrocketed inside the whole monster among men kind of mentality that we see on Braun Strowman. They were just that destructive.
Well, I think they're coming up to the main roster. I think that's the purpose of this.
They're already graduated? Because that's fantastic. Oh,
God, I SmackDown needs them badly.
I honestly would love the idea of them going to Raw and Braun having his own minions. Like, you cannot beat me. Here is my power.
Somebody in our chat was saying that Braun was going to pick up Hulk Hogan as a manager.
Oh, God.
After Monday night, Braun doesn't need no manager. And we'll talk about that later.
Never needed a manager. I mean, look, he was technically managed by Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family, and he didn't even need it then. But I digress. Going back and forth, Sanity picks up the win. Do as fantastic as it is. I can't wait for that build-up because it seems like they're trying to continue building up just at the moment the match actually is happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll do, especially with the ending results of this pay-per-view specifically. But, man, did that... I don't know, man. NXT, every match seems to build up so amazingly. And I feel like there was no... Personally, I felt like there was no moments where the piss was taken out of the room because the next match also was juicy.
Well, I'd like to point out that with the next match also we had we started guest commentators for the rest of the night with Corey Graves making his return for Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami.
Oh man, I always liked Itami. He just has a bad.
They just need to let him go home and be Kenta. They just need to let him go home and be Kenta. They tried to make it work. It didn't. I'm sorry. It sucks. He's a great wrestler. He really is. He deserves better than what he's been given. But I mean, it's not like they've misused him. He's been injured a lot.
That's my point. He just had such bad luck with physical injuries because he was supposed to have a big feud with Finn Balor, and he hurt his shoulder a few years back. Then when he came back, he was supposed to have a big feud between him and Samoa Joe, and then he got injured again. Two great, iconic moments for Hideo Itami to really graduate from, and they just got destroyed by, once again, another injury. It's just unreal, especially since this match was a real crown jewel, because Aleister Black is a no-joke wrestler.
No. I mean, he was. This was an awesome match. This was a heavy, stiff match. It was. It was full of a lot of hard-hitting moments. I mean, it really showcased how both of them. But I mean, who here really thought that Itami was going to win? Like, I mean, if he didn't win against Bobby Roode at the last Takeover, his time has come and passed. And I don't know what's going to get him. Whether they're just going to Baron Corbin him and just graduate him to the roster because there's nothing left for him to do there, or whether they're going to actually give him like some kind of a top run. It doesn't look like it at the moment.
Well, let's also point out that the reason why Baron Corbin graduated is not because they had nothing left for him in NXT. It's because Vinny likes his big sweaty men.
Yeah, well, apparently not so much, but we'll get into that.
That's another level of issue because Vince has his priorities, and making money is on the top. And if you're going to take away money, then you're shit to him.
That is true. That is 100% true. But it was Aleister Black over Hideo Itami. And as of this point, they're already doing better because at this point, they are 2 for the faces, 1 for the heels. So already they have addressed one of my problems. But as we're about to find out in this next match, they're not going to address the big one, which is, of course, the next match, which was guest commentated by Lita, is the undefeated Asuka versus Ember Moon. Now
let's also point out something here. Another good build-up. This months prior to this, Ember and her have really seen great impact. Now, wait. I see what you're doing. Put it down for a minute. This is a hostage situation. I'm trying to save that can.
Okay. All right. That's it. The floor is yours, counselor.
Big question is, did you see the build-up before this?
I saw a bit of it. I went back and I watched a little bit of it.
Okay. I know that you don't watch. I know you don't watch a lot of the NXT portion. You wait for the pay-per-views. They usually have to explain these things. It's cool. However,
the build-up was all right.
Build-up was sexy. And it was a battle not between a heel and a face. It was actually, I would say, probably the most neutral. I would say like how Stone Cold was, where he wasn't necessarily a face, he wasn't necessarily a heel, he was right in between. And Bermuda's like that, and because of the language barriers, I would say Asuka's like that as well. But in reality, Asuka really doesn't do anything heelish to warrant that. It's more like a Roman Reigns heat, where you just want her to lose so she can move on, more than it is because she was being nasty and tricksy. Because, let's face it, Asuka fucking puts on A-list shit matches. Like, between her and Nikki Cross in that Falls Count Anywhere, or should I say Last Man Standing? It was a Last Man Standing match where she goddamn superplexed her off the ladder into the announcer's table to literally knock out Nikki Cross for the win. Puts a badass checkbox next to that name. And this match, without those rules, with normal wrestling, she delivered. Ember delivered. It was a pure bout, and it was solid. So even though Asuka won, that match was flawless. God damn it! You know what that reminded me of? Folks, you know what that reminded me of? You ever seen the second movie that ever came out for the Punisher? It's called Punisher Warzone. And there was a scene where they had the bad guy tied up in a chair. Frank Castle's in the room with one of the cops. And he's telling Frank not to. The cops telling not Frank, which is Punisher, not to kill him. We have him. Not to kill him. We have him. He's on the phone. He's trying to talk it through. All of a sudden you hear shotgun to the face, and he goes, "God damn it, Castle!" That was that moment right there. I proved my point, and you still opened it.
Okay. Well, allow me to retort. She has beaten everyone on the female roster twice. She's beat Nikki Cross 3 times. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. The rumor is, or I shall say was, because they're not going to be able to do this anymore, and I will explain in a second, was that she was going to relinquish the title and that she was going to go up to the roster. Now, I admit, my issue is never been her work rate. That was a damn awesome match. We are there. We are together in that. But the problem is that in order to build her up, they have completely buried the rest of the division. She has beaten everyone twice, if not more. And if she leaves by relinquishing the title, then that's just the ultimate fuck you to the rest of those guys. And then what do you do with her when you take her to the main roster? I mean, if you don't have her run through everyone, then she just looks like she's floundering like Nia Jax. But then, because they spent all of that time looking like they were waiting for Ember Moon to come to pass it off to her, now they done fucked up. Because you want to know what? You want to know who's not going to be wrestling for the next 6 to 8 weeks? Do you want to know who has a broken collarbone because of that match? It's Asuka. Yep. She broke her collarbone in the match. She's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. She's going to have surgery and has to let it heal. Has to do a little bit of physical therapy. You done fucked it up, son.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I could see that also being a good way of giving her that she's never lost at NXT, and they can move her onto the roster after she heals. I don't know.
I mean, it's a little bit better than her relinquishing the title, her being forced to give it up because she can't defend it within 30 days. But then again, if she can't defend it in 30 days, why does Brock still have a title? Because Brock doesn't defend his title every 30 days.
Not until recently.
Shit, not even Naomi does. But Asuka over Ember Moon. It was a great match. Ember got a standing O after it was all said and done. Which led us to the main event. Guest commentated by good old JR, and it was glorious Bobby Roode.
Oh God. it's always good to hear that music. It feels like something homely is happening.
Exactly. But glorious Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship match, and it was.
Tell me how dope that intro for Drew McIntyre was.
Oh no, that was the best. That was absolutely, awesome. Way better than Bobby Roode's.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Bobby. The rock band treatment on the ramp was not as good as the two lines of bagpipers
by NYPD of all things.
Exactly.
I have to say his best, like all of them have their own like super special intro entrance at one point. I think Bobby Roode's best one was when he had the choir.
Yes, absolutely.
Singing directly at them. It felt like a piercing of knives coming at them just with those eyes alone. But yeah, his was an NXT was like a regular NXT, I guess, match from a recording mixed in with that rock band at bottom. That was about it.
Pretty much. And I mean, the match was pretty hardcore, like you would expect. Drew McIntyre left the WWE with the chip on his shoulder, and he went and he showed the world why he deserved to be back, and now he's back. And he showed them why. It was a lot of back and forth. He survived the glorious DDT. He survived a lot of Roode's offense, and sure enough, when it came to the end, when it was all said and done, your new NXT champion,
glorious. No,
Drew McIntyre. But he only had a minute to basically revel in his victory, because along with Fish and O'Reilly, who shows up but Adam Cole, baby, and they laid waste. The Ring of Honor darlings are invading NXT. Mm-hmm. It was, it's short. I mean, again, they stick to the tight 2-hour 5-match format. Everything felt special. Nothing felt like it was rushed. And that in general was Takeover Brooklyn 3.
God, that's so good. I felt there was no roller coaster situation where it was a high and then it had a low.
It had no bad matches. It had my annoyances aside, they went 3 for 2 on heels or faces to heels. So, I'm happy about that.
And they built up a new story. They did the new build up for the next setup.
I might actually check it out tomorrow night. We'll see.
Actually, I probably would say wait about 2 weeks, because realistically, they're probably going to be doing how they usually do live pay-per-views. Is they usually do 2, like, this is what happened over the weekend in Brooklyn and New York and stuff. They don't do another recording that actually happens, because it's a recording show, so it's going to probably take 2 weeks. So
I'd give it a B+. I definitely give it a B+.
Oh,
my little nags bring it down to a B+, but a very high B+, almost an A-.
I'm going to be on the A- side, because
that's fair.
Because remember, I know why you chose the B+, and it's probably the same reason why you chose the beer can to open up.
Yeah. But like if it hadn't been for that, if it hadn't been for just that little bit of thing, I mean, the women's division has not been the same since the 4 Horsewomen left. And Bayley held it down, and once Bayley left, it's floundered a lot, and they haven't done anything to build it up.
There's no strong names besides Asuka and Ember Moon right now, and Nikki Cross.
Now, hopefully, that will change with the Mae Young Classic. But I mean,
hey, you know what? Fun fact: one of the people that's in the tournament for that was the female from the Straight Edge Society.
Oh yeah, Serena. She's doing yoga. She's got a yoga gimmick now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm down for it. I love Serena.
And I hope they have the same power as the CWC, but they don't ruin it after the CWC, like the Cruiserweight division has.
Oh.
That's the only thing I'm praying for.
I don't see them getting their own show, so I don't see it being a problem.
No, but
it's just whether or not they can use them correctly. We'll see.
Of course, they borrowed some people from New Japan. They borrowed some people from WCW. So they're not going to stick around afterwards. But there's definitely some free agents chilling in there that they should fucking take over.
Oh yeah, totally.
After once this is done, because these bitches look bad. They're bad bitches.
But that is not all, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the pre-cook out of the way here in the first half, because SummerSlam was Sunday, baby! Emanating from Brooklyn for the third year, and apparently they're going to be from Brooklyn next year again.
Oh, it's a staple now. It's officially always the Barclays Center. So
apparently,
maybe we need to take a visit so we know where the hell it is every goddamn year.
Maybe we do. And we kicked off the pre-show with quite a controversial match. The Miztourage, which is, of course, The Miz with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, along with Maurice, versus the Hardys and Jason Jordan Angle.
And you know what the real enemy was? Apparently
security at the door.
Security at the door were the enemy. God damn it. There was probably more people outside the arena than there was probably less people inside the arena than the employee staff of that damn building.
Allegedly, freaking the Hardys and the Miz were furious when they got back out after the match, and you could see it too. Like, I mean, I was in the car, so I listened rather than to watch the match. But every time I was at a stoplight, I'd look down, and no one was there. Like, they did that match for like 100 people. Like, joke.
For some reason, I feel eerily The Rock and Mankind had more audience from that Super Bowl special 2 decades ago than they did.
It looked like it. This was a pretty paint-by-numbers match. We have a question related to this match at the end of the night, which we'll save that to answer. But it was pretty by the numbers. Hardys get their offense in, Miz picks up the win with the skull-crushing finale on Jason Jordan. Everyone goes home happy.
See, I thought they were going to waste their loss on the Hardys so we can get some broken action. But, of course, they bring the guy that they're trying to build up as a big deal because he's Kurt Angle's son, put in the quotes, just to freaking make him lose to The Miz. Did Jason Jordan say something on Twitter, too, that we don't know about?
No. I mean, the angle's falling flat. I don't know what they're going to do to save it, but maybe when Shelton Benjamin gets here, Shelton Benjamin can tag with him.
Hopefully, Benji makes it better, because here's one of the problems right now, and I know this is going to sound blasphemous because he's a goddamn national treasure to the wrestling world, but Kurt Angle is flat. He is flat as. He has very little charisma. I almost feel like he's dead inside. I feel like all the good shit that was about him was dedicated to the drugs he took when he was doing the time here at WWE. Because I don't know, he sounds worse and flat than anything. He had one good moment this SummerSlam with Daniel Bryan, and that was it. But it sounded more staged and natural.
What it is that as opposed to the WWE that he left, where he was allowed to be off script and ad lib a lot of his stuff, he's not allowed to do that anymore. WWE is corporate now. They're script writers who have to keep him, and because of his past, they have to keep him.
Tell that to The Rock. Go ahead. Tell that to The Rock.
The Rock is bigger than. The Rock is bigger than wrestling, and The Rock has proven in the past that he's going to do what he damn well pleases, and what are they going to do about it? Nothing. But Kurt Angle is contracted to them. The Rock is a movie star, and he don't need the WWE anymore. Same thing with Big Dave, too.
Oh, yeah,
John Cena's getting there. But at any rate, it was Miz with the skull-crushing finale on Jason Jordan Angle to win it for his team. Not that anyone saw. You saw how snippy he got during Miz TV when he made that when he made that comment. It's like, oh, this is what a full Barclays Center would looks like. Not that I would know.
Yeah,
it's like, wow.
Oh, deep cuts.
The salt.
Oh yeah, salt of the earth, salt.
And then we were given another head scratcher we knew this was going to be on the pre-cook, but Akira Tozawa versus Neville in a really great match. But the story of this was Tozawa won the Cruiserweight Championship on Raw, and then he lost it. He lost it back to Neville.
It was an anticlimactic M. Night Shyamalan twist that they were trying to pull off. And
they need to stop this shit. This turnaround, this revolving door belts.
Was it just me though, or was the expectation, at least in my mind, was for Neville to lose, so that way he can bring that anger and frustration back to the main part of the roster.
That's where I thought
out of the CWC, because
where I thought they were going with it.
Let's face it, he was the reason for the success and failure of what the cruiserweight division's going right now. Success because he was powerful and charismatic and engaging. But he's a failure because he is always the champion. And it's worse than the women's division in my mind. You're boxed in. You're a man that can't even go for the U.S. title. You're wrestlers that can't even go for the Intercontinental title. You're freaking wrestlers that can't go for the world title. You're stuck in a purple belt box.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but the problem is that I don't think they have, and I think this is what happened. I don't think they believe that the Cruiserweight, that 205 Live can exist without Neville. Because let's be honest, Neville made that show watchable. And this King of the Cruiserweights gimmick that he came up with has saved the Cruiserweight convention.
And also made it unwatchable, too.
But I mean, I'm with you right there, too. He's gone through everyone. Who is there left? And then they give it to Tozawa, and then they give it right back to Neville. And apparently tonight on 205 Live, they're going to give it. But if they just gave it back to Neville, there's no way in hell they're going to do 3 straight trade matches. So
remember, was Tyson there on the SummerSlam pre-show with him?
Yes, Titus was there.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it was a good match. It was a solid match. I was surprised. I mean, they got us. You got us. I mean, hooray for you, I guess. But Neville, your 2-time King of the Cruiserweights and Cruiserweight Champion. Which brings us to the most head-scratching of all on the pre-cook. Do you remember when I sat there and I threw that into chat when I got to Bests and Mims, when I said that The New Day versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship had been pre-cooked?
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. The New Day, of all people, get pre-cooked.
They took fucking exception to your pre-cooks, because this was goddamn the match of the night. It was
match of the pre-cook.
It was by far better.
I don't know what to say. Maybe Miz, Raj, and Hardys and Jason Jordan and Usos and the New Day and Tozawa and Neville got into a locker room and said, "Hey, they bumped us, boo-boo. Let's go ahead and raise the middle finger and put on a fucking show." Because those 3 matches beat the first 3 matches of the main show itself.
I mean, the Miz stuff. The very first match was standard fare, but I don't blame them if they started phoning it in halfway through, because there weren't that many people there. Yeah. But I mean, again, you're right. Tozawa and Neville, and this match blew the freaking doors off of it. Even the
6-man was still juice.
No, it was still juiced. It was still good. It wasn't as good as they could have done. It was quick. It was only about 7.5 minutes.
Okay, even though we're going to talk about it in the second half of the show, let's compare notes. So, Mr. Raj, Hardy's, Jason Jordan, Cena, and Baron Corbin.
Oh no, the 6-man was better.
Tozawa and Neville, Natalya and Naomi. The New Day.
I'm biased towards one of those wrestlers. So you want to make sure. So you sure you want to
pause it? I know.
Okay.
Hold it, and then of course finally, New Day and the Usos. Cass and Big Show.
That's not fair, because you've got Cass and Big Show, which just brings down the matches before it in there.
Oh no, Randy versus Rusev after that brings down the whole show. But we'll talk about that in the half of that.
This match legit got about 30 minutes. Was
that costume design though for the
the red unicorn lanterns of rage. And it was full of false finishes. It was full of double teams. It was back and forth. Like, it was their match from a month ago turned up to 11. and it deserved to be on the main show. Certainly a lot more than any one of those first 4 matches, and it was amazing, and it surprised me because in the end, your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions of the World, the Usos.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
nice, refreshing change, by the way. Nice,
refreshing. What do you mean? They were champs 2 months ago.
No.
Yes.
New Day needs to chill on championships, regardless of who, when, and how they got them.
You see, this is the thing. They need to quit the revolving door with all these championships. They need to find a champion and they need to stick with it.
Hold on. Can you name other SmackDown? Can you name any other SmackDown tag team that could switch out with the Usos right now?
No, it's just these two because they buried them. But they buried all the rest of them. That's not their fault.
Tell me it wouldn't be juicy for the Usos' very first rival to be the Authors of Pain coming out of SummerSlam.
Who's the face in that?
Who gives a shit?
Well, it fundamentally dictates which Usos we get. So I do.
I feel like this is Seth Rollins during the whole sellout, give in version of himself, and Brock Lesnar. I feel like that is that moment.
That remains to be seen. But regardless of the fact, this was a damn entertaining match. It was a match that deserved to be on the main show way more than some of the other matches.
As a matter of fact, I will save it for the second half to say my next comment.
Okay.
But the pre-cook, I think, should get its own letter grade. I really do.
All right. Okay. I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Hold on. Let me get the SummerSlam graphic back up. All right. That was the pre-cook. Grade it. I give that pre-cook an A. It doesn't get an A+ just because of the first match was not A+ material, but definitely the other two were. I will give that pre-cook an A+.
I will an A+ or an A?
An A. A straight up A.
I'm gonna give it a B+ because they gotta stop that cruiserweight bullshit.
Why should we care about the cruiserweight division when they don't?
Yeah, and therefore I have to only now include 2 of those matches, and one was Super God and one was Super. Oh, okay. So B+.
And with that said, that brings us to the show proper, which we will be getting to after the other side of the break. Where we will be. Nope, that's not the right one. There we go. There's the logo. We got a nice little mashup for you, and we will see you after the break.
See you on the side, folks.
On behalf of Kane Snuka and myself, the Faded Saint, we would like to thank Meatchet for our closing theme, Picnic in the Reactor. We'd like to also thank All Arounder for our opening theme, Destruction. And today we have a mashup of 2 of our favorite wrestlers here tonight. It is Neville versus Seth Rollins by mashup GFX Gladiator TM, The Second Orbit. Enjoy. welcome back. I'm your boy, Coming the Faded Saint. That is my boy, Kane Super Snooker. And today's show is brought to you by Bajaraton 3000, which once again is L'Oreal approved. If you need a home entertainment system and you need the absolute best, the finest in audio, visual, and smelling technology, the Jericho 5000 is for you. It gives you 5K, not 4K, not 8K, not 14K, 15K, because they go one beyond so that you get the ultimate immersive experience. Geratron 5000 sold by L'Oreal near you. And
I follow her on Facebook, and this girl is flipping monster truck tires, CrossFit style, like Batman from Batman vs Superman Dawn dresses.
She could bench press me.
Need to chill the fuck out with this shit, because I don't need a doorbell ring from her one day. And then she starts flipping me like some goddamn tires are down my street.
Well, speaking about chilling out, we still have the SummerSlam main show to get to. Before the break, we talked about TakeOver Brooklyn 3. We also talked about the SummerSlam pre-cook. The SummerSlam pre-cook was good enough to garner its own grade. So we have to get to the main show. And like I said, speaking of things that people want me to knock off, we are going to go right into the man who cannot play tennis, the man who somehow loses at Twitter, the man who lost his Money in the Bank championship. Yes, we are talking about your friend and mine, Boring Corbin, or as we're now calling him, Buried Corbin, versus big match John Cena.
Okay, I wanted to make a comment before, and I said I was going to say it over here, but I'm going to say it right now.
Okay.
They could have done no pre-cook. They could have done these first 4 matches, pulled them out, and put the 3 pre-cook matches right in that spot, and I would have been totally fine with it. Totally fine.
I agree. This match was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't just weird. It was fuck weird.
John Cena just was not having any of this match. He was just
motherfucker.
We talk about
You talk about the troops. You are literally kicking him in the balls.
You know what? It garners it because of how weird this match was. Yes, sir. It's gonna happen. Yep.
I'm completely fine with you doing it on that one. I sure am. Save us.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, so here's the backstory. Let's be honest here. You can't beat Superman. If Rusev wasn't beating Cena at the last pay-per-view, Corbin wasn't going to...
Especially when you piss off the troops. You do not kill Superman.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, so Corbin lost. Corbin has been going through what can only be described as a humbling. Because, I mean, Jesus God, he lost the Money in the Bank ladder match, or the Money in the Bank briefcase in, 30 seconds on SmackDown on the go-home show, when Jinder Mahal beat him with the most dastardly of finishers, the roll-up. And apparently what happened was Baron Corbin, plays his character to the hilt, and he got into it with Dave Meltzer. He got into it with Cena. He got into it with Nikki Bella. He got into it with Mojo freaking Rawley. And then he got into it with apparently a freaking veteran. And once he got into it with the veteran...
you screwed the pooch.
Yeah,
you were taking money away from Vince McMahon, because that is... You do not touch his audience.
And, I mean, this match he was just yelling at the crowd. John Cena was just, at his frat boyiest, fuckest, jumping around, laughing, and just, I can't describe this match. This match was fucked,
And even better, the crowd was like, "Where's your briefcase?"
So bad.
Salty
moments. Cena won in short fashion.
I don't even think you needed to say anything. I don't even think you need to say Cena won. People just know you can't beat Superman. You cannot.
You can't beat Superman.
You have to have kryptonite gloves, which is what only AJ Styles has kryptonite gloves. So
this match happened. Although this breaks a streak, I should point out that ever since John Cena buried the Nexus, he has lost 6 SummerSlams in a row. And if he had lost this match, he would have lost a match for every single member of the Nexus that he buried.
Yep.
So this would have been Wade Barrett's get back. So once again, he's screwing Wade Barrett. So I want to say sorry to my brother because Wade Barrett is one of his favorite wrestlers. You can't beat Superman. We're all jobbing to him. With that said, that moves us along to.
That just reminded me. That means Dave Rotunda got birthright for him to lose at SummerSlam.
Oh God.
Dave Rotunda.
Moving on. That brings us to the SmackDown Women's Championship match. It was Feel the Glow and the stupid LED lights on the stupid freaking belt, Naomi, versus Mrs. Faded Saint, Natty Neidhart. And this was a
fuck your match.
The best match.
Fuck your match.
But this was
stopping it. Fuck your match.
But this was not the worst. This was not the worst match on the. This was not the worst match on the card. Not at all.
No, it's not.
This is my thing. Naomi is a great athlete, but she's been booked like shit since WrestleMania. I don't know if I was discussing this with you, but Naomi has had exactly 3 televised title defenses since she won the belt at WrestleMania, which was back.
Yeah, they've been nursing that leg forever now.
And all 3 of them, only one of them took place on a pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. All 3 of them were against Lana.
True.
2 of them were under 30 seconds.
Double true.
And I don't know what the hell. And putting her on commentary was just the worst. Jesus God. And when they did the whole thing last month,
she might as well just look at her cell phone going, yep. Uh-huh.
Because that's what it sounded like. I mean, Naomi is a great athlete. Don't put her on commentary with freaking JBL and Tom Phillips and I guess Byron Saxton, who is the creepiest man alive.
The insider.
Dude, you ever want to see how creepy Byron Saxton is? Go watch the ride along where Nia Jax and Corey Graves and Tom Phillips are driving. Nia Jax gets a call from Byron Saxton, and I don't think he knows he's on camera.
Nope. Everyone wants the love from Nia Jax, though. Everyone.
But this was a decent match. I'm not going to say it was a 5-star match.
Motherfucker you are right now.
My girl won.
It was short.
My girl won.
Didn't have any good spots. She was rusty as hell with that sharpshooter. It was a shite match. It was shite match.
It was an all right match when you consider what was around it.
They gave up Becky Lynch. They had the opportunity to provide a great point of cashing in that Money in the Bank right after that match. But no, they kept it the way it is. So no. If I had an alcoholic beverage with me, this would have been my moment to snap the goddamn can open. But no. Fuck your match.
It was better than Naomi Lana.
All right, fair enough.
It was better than the next match, which, by the way, again, Natalya over Naomi to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. Can I just before I go to the next match, I just want to say one thing. I am happy that Natalya has finally gotten a real belt.
6 years later,
she has deserved a real belt. She's finally got one. Good for you, Natty.
Yeah, because she got the Divas title right after they got rid of the women's title, and 6 years later she finally gets the women's title again as a just deserving one. But I could also see you with the whole bitching and moaning about the glowing title that she carries. I bet you that's going to be the SmackDown thing, glowing title. I bet you. Because
if they play it right, it's fine. But the thing is that she did that to the title. John Cena, when he made the spinner belt, because we had this conversation, Vest and I, with his wife Mims, It's one thing to do something like that to a title when you're a heel, because then you draw all the heat from the old school fans. When you do it as a face, you look naive and stupid and disrespectful as fuck.
I don't know. I like the U.S. spinner. The World Heavyweight spinner was crap, but the U.S. spinner was dope.
The U.S. title is the U.S. title. When they did it with the heavyweight title, that's my problem.
That's what I'm saying.
But speaking of crap and shite matches,
the reason why I ate that thing on the side of my headset.
Oh God. So as you all can see on the screen, this is Big Show versus Big Cass, the Shark Cage match.
The Battle of the Bigs.
With Enzo in the Shark Cage. And okay, let's get the first part out of the way. Enzo would not shut up.
And that's not even a joke.
I
said to you in our room that we were talking about the matches in, I said the audience at SummerSlam will never know the tortures of the people watching this at home who are hearing the pickup sound of Enzo from the side ring cameras. Holy God. I mean, we're not even talking like, you got this, Big Show.
Oh, Jesus. He was just like, he was just.
Come on. No, this was, yo, bro, touch it now. Get it on. Get that man, Mo. Get that man, Mo. Like, there was just crazy talk coming out of him. And he wasn't even breathing. His breathing was the talking.
He just screamed for 10 minutes. It felt like fucking hours. Mm-hmm. It felt like fucking hours forever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the story in the match is they had taken away the big KO punch. Big Cass had hired the Good Brothers, who should have been on the card in place of this bullshit. How do we not get the freaking club? How do we not get Sami Zayn? How do we not get Ty Dillinger? How do we not get Mike Bennett in place and we get this bullshit right here? And it was awful. So the joke is that after about what seems like 3.5 days of Enzo just screaming, he takes off his clothes, which, oh my God, and then he's got lube taped to the inside of his thigh, and he lubes himself up. He slips out of the shark cage, drops down to the canvas, gets kicked in the face by Cass.
And done.
And Cass drops the Empire Elbow. Your winner, for the love of God, Big Cass. But then it's not like anything gets better for him. It's because, I mean, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. Big Cass. So last night on Raw, jumping forward here for a second, they had Big Cass versus Enzo, in a street fight, which ended with Enzo winning by way of injury forfeiture because Big Cass's knee blew out and he had to be helped to the back. That is not a storyline. He legitimately hurt himself. I wonder
if he hurt himself so he can get the goddamn out of this Enzo frickin' feud that he has now going.
I don't know. But, I mean, if you go back and you look at it, I haven't seen. It doesn't look like they've given us a reason why it's happened yet. But he's getting an MRI today or tomorrow, and we're gonna find out then. But it's a legitimate storyline, and the match stoppage was not in storyline.
Let me ask you a question. Going back to the shark cage.
Okay.
Is there a thing going on where, when the WWE made a deal with the Barclays Center to make it SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver as a staple to that place going forward about 3 years ago, did one of the people say, yeah, you can be here forever, but you need to include this in at least one of your matches, and hand them this giant Shark Tank cage? And Vince is like, yeah, we can figure something out.
When there wasn't a shark cage at the last SummerSlam.
NXT TakeOver.
What?
Paul Ellering was in the cage.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't say Maybe. Which one. It had to be either one. You got one of your matches as the Shark Cage.
Well, no, because Raw was at the Barclays Center yesterday, and SmackDown is at the Barclays Center tonight, which SmackDown's about 30 minutes. So I guess we'll see if there's another Shark Cage related thing tonight. But Enzo.
Was there a Shark Cage last night on Raw?
No, there wasn't.
Okay. No, matches.
But Jesus Christ, let's just move on because we're trying to get away from talking about this match. This was a goddamn horrible match.
Yeah, the MVP of the night was the Shark Cage.
Big Cass won, and it doesn't get any better next.
Okay. We need to talk we need to talk about this and end it just as fast as the match happened.
So, of course, we're talking about Randy Orton versus Rusev. So, explain this match in 5 words. Go!
Rusev hurt, RKO win.
Randall Q. Orton, it's why I drink.
I think he did 6 words and I did 4.
Whatever. Randy Orton with the win. No one gives a fuck.
It wasn't even just a win. It was like Goldberg freaking level win. It was... I'm going to surprise... Of course, Rusev surprised Randy Orton by not even coming out. He just went and attacked him while he was doing his thing in the corner where he was lifting his hands up like he's Jesus. And while he beat the fuck out of him for like a good 5 seconds, they brought him back in the ring. Ref was the real heel in this situation because he kept pushing Rusev back saying, you wait there. I'm going to see if he's willing to have this match still. Randy's like, yeah, I'm having this match. And Rusev, as soon as the ding bell, ran to the turnbuckle. Randy Orton got out of the way. Gave him an RKO. Rusev took a nasty RKO bump. Looked like he snapped his neck almost. 1, 2, 3. That was it. The match ended with a turnbuckle slam, RKO win.
We've already talked longer than the match has gone on.
Exactly.
So we're going to move on to the Raw Women's Champion. It is Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks.
Clear me up on something. Why was Sasha being booed?
Because face Sasha is kind of meh.
I don't know about that because remember how it literally you couldn't have a women's match without we want Sasha.
Well, yeah, and then they overexposed her, and
so
they booed Bayley. Well, here's the problem: they've booed Bayley. It's been Bayley or Alexa, or Bayley and Sasha, or Bayley and Sasha with Alexa and Nia.
Did they purposely? Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just had a random moment here. But Charlotte Flair wasn't even there. Is that because of Rick?
Yes. Yes, she's with him right now.
Was there even a card before this happened?
No, she wasn't on the card, but she decided to go spend.
Of course, but holy shit.
They were talks that they were going to do something pre-cookie for them, but when Rick got sick all of a sudden, they're like, go do your thing. And that's why. But anyway, this was a decent match. Again, the story of the match was Alexa yelling at the referee, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And Sasha kind of won suddenly. Like, because the commentators were like, she doesn't have it all then. She doesn't have it all there. Her arm's hurt. She doesn't have it locked in properly, and then she like taps out. And it's just like, I thought she didn't have it all in. What?
That's Corey exaggerating. Because that's his girl right there.
I mean, but it's one of those. I mean, hooray! I guess. Can we please get somebody else into this main event thing? Can we please get heel Bayley, take out Sasha, and then we can get Nia or Emma or
how about you bring Charlotte back over to Raw? Because god damn it, I just realized that woman was almost on every damn pay-per-view since she came back, since she started in the WWE debut.
And oh no, she and Kevin Owens had a record going, like they both right now. Well, this breaks Charlotte's. But up until now, Charlotte has been on every pay-per-view she's been available to be on up until SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate, because that's why they kept calling her the Iron Queen.
Mm-hmm.
This match was all right. It was about on par with the other women's match. I think they've just overdone this pairing a little bit. They've kind of overdone like Sasha being champion as well. I mean, if they're gonna go with Sasha as being the champion,
but again, who would have been Nia?
It's somebody new at least.
I would like,
but I mean, Nia is the division killer. Like once you get it on Nia, how do you get it off of her? And that's the struggle.
They already kill her a lot already.
My vulnerable neck. How did you know?
No, if you kick, like, remember Asuka destroyed her with the kicks to the face? That was actually a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about months ago when Nia Jax was before the roster bring up. She had a match against Asuka, and the only way to bring that girl down was to literally kick her head off.
No, but the end of the match was she choked her out just like Bayley did. No, everyone chokes out.
Asuka ended that match with her kick to the face. 1, 2, 3.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it. But
I remember vividly. She screamed right at her, "Ah!" and Asuka kicked her right in the face.
And at this point in the night, I'm sitting there. I'm saying, "All right, guys, we've gone 4 for 4 title changes." At that point, if you remember, I'm saying Asuka's the only one who's managed to keep her title so far this weekend.
Well, minus one that didn't happen, but yeah.
Well, but that also brings us to the next match, which I'm surprised didn't end up a palate cleaner, but nonetheless, it was the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt versus the Demon.
You see,
Finn Balor, or as Seth Rollins calls him, the Demon Kane.
Which, but by now you should have a vivid picture of just Kane right over him right now, because that I can never get that out of my head. But I have to say, Bray Wyatt should be no longer known as the Eater of Worlds anymore. He should be known as the guy who eats cereal, because he's got nothing but dust at the bottom of his bowl.
I don't stand why they don't push Bray Wyatt to the moon. He is such a great talker. He is a great wrestler. He has great matches. He wrestles through his injuries.
He has the potential to actually raise that whole Army of the Dead attitude like The Undertaker did. He has the power.
He could be the next Undertaker.
Not even a similar value. Something. I mean, he has the value that can make, like, fucking people go, holy shit! What are we going to do about Bray Wyatt? And he doesn't even have to wrestle. He could literally have a meat stick of army men in front of him to make it harder for him. Like, people that are, like how the Wyatt family should have been done is they should have more people join it like the NWO. It should have been like an NWO kind of thing where people get succubused in like they did with Randy Orton. Except they should have just made it happen. Because god damn it, that would have worked so slamming. And just imagine doing that. Just imagine doing that, and then him going after Braun Strowman. Let's say Braun wins the world title at No Mercy next month, and then all of a sudden Bray Wyatt goes, you were one of us, Braun. Join us again, and they're like, no, I'm Braun Strowman.
Whoa.
Man can dream.
Yeah, man can dream, but. They're not gonna let that happen, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So of course Finn won. If you can't,
by the way.
But I mean, it was a decent match. It was good to see the Demon again.
First of all, the paint job for him was subpar. Nothing delicious about it.
Really, I liked the paint job. Different strokes for different folks. That's fine. But
every takeover and some of the included ones that he had over, like SummerSlam last year, he had beautiful art on the back of his back. Beautiful art.
He had beautiful art in the back.
No, he had a very V-shapey, mouthy drag out, but nothing beautiful. Not like the Benjamin, like the clock tower when they were in London. Not the eye like he was at Takeover Brooklyn last year. Not the Osiris that was happening on the back of his back in SummerSlam of last year. There was just nothing beautiful about it. Not to say that this wasn't still cool to see, but it was just like I think this is their way of saying we're going to slowly take this away and just literally wear a mask so that way we can sell that as merch. That's what I feel like it's going to happen.
They already sell mask versions of that as merch.
Yeah, but him doing that.
I doubt it. I think he has his own guy that does this because he was doing this on the indie circuit.
She does. She is fantastic.
So, but I mean, it was a decent match. It was an all right match. But it was, if you saw the match they had on Raw, it was about the same. Except the only thing is that when Bray went to do the spider walk, Vin got up and screamed, and then that was the end of it.
No, I'm better than you that way. Brr. Yeah, it was, but I have to say, it's still very refreshing to see him pop somebody into the corner turnbuckle with that super double kick, and then climb like a spider monkey right onto the very top without even realizing, and then do the coup de grace, right, boom, right then and there. It's so much more refreshing to see that than for example, Roman Reigns sitting in the corner waiting for the spear. Like, the lineup is just not there.
Well, moving on, because we both want to talk about this next match.
Oh, yeah.
The 2/3 of the Shield. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins burn it down!
Have you listened to that full song, by the way?
I have.
So good.
Versus Mecha Shiva Activate Shamzaro! And before we get started, we actually have to address one thing here. Unfortunately, at SummerSlam, we as fans, we experienced a loss. We experienced a loss, and that was, of course, the beloved beach ball, which was heinously killed by Cesaro, who was not having any of your beach ball shit.
The best heel thing you could ever do. Like,
he sprinted and he dead jumped right over the barrier, and he got that beach ball and with his bare hands ripped it apart in front of the entire crowd. How dare you, Barclays Center?
Cesaro needs to be world champion after this. He'd easily be the number one contender against...
When that beach ball showed back up on Raw, I swear to God, I almost expected Cesaro to just run straight back out and just rip it apart and no, this is not a thing anymore. Oh, wow. Somehow I laughed so hard, it got us to the next match. So this was a crazy match. I mean, it's Cesaro and Sheamus have been doing some of the best works of their career as tag team champions.
Damn right.
Dean Ambrose has been floundering, and he has been reignited as a part of this tag team with Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins is there. He is definitely a guy with a beard that jumps around and looks like the Red Power Ranger. But it was a great match. I love this match.
It's funny that the tag team matches make flawless matches for these darlings when it comes to these, because the Pre-Cook had a fantastic tag team match for the title, and apparently the Raw said, oh, no, we going to do it better, and went for it, because goddamn, this match was strong. Dean and Seth worked a lot harder than they ever did as a Shield.
I want to say something right here, right now, because we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this match because we still, so that we can get through the rest of it. It was a great match. There was a lot of false finishes, but I think it's time that we start recognizing the greatness of 5 particular individuals who have done their very best to make the tag team matches over the last year really the best they can be, and that is Sheamus and Cesaro. But that is also the New Day, because if you think back at all of the great matches, tag matches that we've had on the main roster over the last year, one or both of those teams have been involved.
True.
And this was a great match. Lots of false finishes. Again, Cesaro towards the end of it, going out and getting the beach ball. And if you didn't notice, when Sheamus saw the beach ball, and he was just like, "Fuck you, fans! I'm gonna beat the crap out of you know how he does the 10 beats of the Balrog." He's, instead of doing that, he hit him in the chest, then hit him in the back of the head, then hit him in the ribs, then hit him in the chest, then hit him in the back of the head. It was brutal. Double true. It was brutal. But in the end, you could not overcome the nostalgia that is the Shield. And your winners, and your new tag team champions, and needs to be addressed here, making Dean Ambrose a classic Grand Slam champion.
True.
Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. It was
Actually, I think it's double because Seth would be the same situation.
Seth has never been the Intercontinental Champion. The classic Grand Slam is world title, Intercontinental title, tag team titles. The Raw Tag Team Championship is the one that is derived from the actual Tag Team Championship. Dean Ambrose was the World Heavyweight Championship. He did not hold the stupid red belt. He held the real belt. Okay. And he was also Intercontinental Champion on 3 separate occasions. And if you want to get really technical, he was U.S. Champion as well on 1 occasion. The longest reigning U.S. Champion, by the way. This was a really great match. I like this match a lot. It showcased them. It's revitalized Dean Ambrose's career.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm looking forward to the rematches we're going to be having.
Oh yeah. They need to make it unified though. They can't just have both of them come out separately anymore.
They need to figure out what they're going to. Yeah, they need to do like a Sheamus and Cesaro thing with it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, moving on. The next match was actually pretty decent, and that was Styles versus Kevin Owens, with special guest referee being Shane McMahon.
I would like to point out that Shane McMahon is the worst referee in the history of referees.
Also, the best rib ever happened in that match. Kevin Owens, if you heard Kevin Owens, one of the times he took a bump from him when he did a Pele kick to AJ the Pele kick and hits Shane, and Shane's like all groggy, and Kevin Owens goes to him and goes, "You can jump off of buildings, but you can't take a kick."
Oh, did you hear him when he sat there? It's like, you survive helicopter crashes. Yeah. So, this, I feel it's fair to say that Kevin Owens and AJ Styles have not lived up to the hype.
I think it's designed to be this way, isn't it? Isn't it so that way? This wasn't the rubber match, right?
I think so. I think we're going to be seeing a new contender because I think we're moving into KO. I think we're moving into Shane and Owens, and I think we're moving AJ on to the next program.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, there is no more John Cena floating around SmackDown for a bit, so maybe.
Yeah, he's the free agent.
Yeah.
He showed up on Raw last night because he wants to fight Roman Reigns.
He wants to
fight Roman Reigns. He wants to show that he's the guy. He wants to show that he's his yard. It's his yard, guys. It's his yard. I have drink way too much. God damn.
For a second there, you creeped me the hell out because it looked so different when you did the upper lip thing. Anyway, as far as it goes. Cena. I think Cena just wants to come inside Roman, so that way they can make a super baby.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about the match. God damn, these two should have amazing matches, right? I'm not wrong there, right?
They had amazing matches. Amazing matches.
But I mean, they didn't. In here, they haven't in the WWE. Like, their SmackDown matches have been really good, but not amazing. Not what I expect from those two. True. And Shane McMahon just getting bumped all around and just being the worst referee ever. Like, this could not be more obvious of a setup for Owens versus Shane. It could not be more obvious of a setup.
Triple true.
I really don't know. And that hindered the match. This should have been a really great match. This should have been one of the best matches of the night. And yet somehow it wasn't. And I don't understand how it was. In the end, Kevin Owens, the story of the match was Kevin Owens getting more and more frustrated with Shane McMahon, who had been taking bumps and taking bumps and taking bumps and taking bumps until finally, he got in Shane McMahon's face. He pushed him. There was a couple of distractions. AJ hits the Pele kick, hits the phenomenal forearm, hits the Styles Clash. Your winner, and still your not Universal Champion, your United States Champion, AJ Styles. And as far as this match goes, the only thing that I can say is don't want none intensifies.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I don't want none of this match again.
Looks like it isn't, because I just saw a little bit of a thing going on in the background, because I have SmackDown, the channel for SmackDown in the background waiting, and there was a thing that popped up where Kevin Owens is yelling at Shane. AJ shows the belt in the end, and in the middle of it says U.S. title championship controversies. So it looks like we might get.
Oh God, man, let it die. Can we just have Sami Zayn or something?
I think that's the point. I think that it's going to be now Shane Owens. So you might get what you want, because I can tell you this much: until the very last match, this didn't help, and the next match did not help SummerSlam either. And that was
we have to talk about
Mahal versus Shinsuke Knox, Mr. Nakamura himself, for the WWE World Heavyweight Title. All right, Shinsuke. First of all, we're gonna talk about entrances. Hold that beer. Hold that beer for 1 minute. First things first. Shinsuke comes out with a sweet, beautiful violin. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's great. And then Jinder just gets the Singh brothers saying, "Come into your match."
I'm gonna get the actual quote. I'm gonna get the actual quote from our chat when we were talking with everyone about this, because I feel like that this was hilarious. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll let you know when I've got it. Okay, there we are. So in the middle of this, because as you know, I usually watch with my best friend Vest and his lovely wife Mems. We had some barbecue and we chilled. But we also, because Kane and myself, he lives in Pordenone and I live in New Orleans. We talk over Facebook with a few other people about this. So when this happens, my dear friend Kane says, so Shinsuke gets the All-Star ESPN Sports Package intro, and Jinder gets the basic cable package.
I did say that.
And do you remember what I said?
Oh, yes, I do.
I said Jinder is basic cable. And then I went on to say, Shinsuke is Titus worldwide. Jinder is Darren Young. Shinsuke is the New England Patriots. Jinder is junior varsity football. And as if to capitalize the issues that I have with the way that they're booking Jinder, the fucking crowd in Brooklyn, we're chanting at the, I should point out, WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Bruno Sammartino's championship, Hulk Hogan's championship, freaking Stone Cold Steve Austin's championship, freaking The Rock's championship, John Cena's championship, the championship that has also got the lineage of Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and freaking Harley Race. They're your WWE World Heavyweight Unified Champion. And what was the crowd chanting at him? 3MB! 3MB!
2/3 of 3MB are champions right now, though. Do you know what that means, though, right? You do realize the person who's going to defeat Brock Lesnar is not Braun Strowman. It's not Braun Strowman. It's not Samoa Joe. The man who's going to defeat him is the man who's got to feed his kids.
I was going to say, Heath Slater is a champion in all of our hearts because he's got kids, damn it.
Yep. And he'll do anything, even interview for Colonel Sanders. You
know what? This match deserves it because this match was such an epic disappointment. And it just goes to show they're not taking Jinder seriously. Jinder has been booked about as well as freaking Rey Mysterio as champion was booked.
Yeah, they're just doing this for the money. But I mean, I was on that page. I was definitely on the bandwagon of Jinder Mahal because I actually liked the whole Minions thing and how they treated him when he was versing someone like Randy Orton. But when you're versing Shinsuke Nakamura, you need to step up your game when it comes to promos and build-ups. None of that happened.
One finisher finished Shinsuke Nakamura. And that's the other thing, is that they've used the Singh brothers so much that it's stale.
Mm-hmm. And even worse is that you're right. You're telling me the Colossus is stronger than the Blue Thunder Powerbomb, or
the reverse exploder,
or even worse, a couple of the awesome DDTs, glorious DDTs. You're telling me all that is undercarded?
I don't know what that is, but I mean, this was a god awful match. I'm on my third beer now, thanks to this match.
Of course, he wins.
I mean, of course, Jinder wins because they're saving him for Big Match John, and I wanted.
And that's also the second title of the night that decided to be retained, where everyone else was.
I was looking so forward to this match. And they took my heart and they broke it. And I will tell you honestly, I didn't say this in chat because I will be honest, I am, and you can attest to this, I am kind of a negative Nancy when it comes to chat sometimes when I feel
you are a very cynical little shit. Yeah.
And I admit it. I am. And I didn't mention it, but at this point, I'm like, I'm going to be failing this show, aren't I? I'm going to be super failing this show. Like, I'm going to give this show a super F. Because, I mean, the rumors all weekend was the Undertaker was about to show up, which, by the way, if the Undertaker is not retired, WrestleMania 33 immediately gets its grade changed to an F. That is something that I said. You know, as long as the Undertaker's retired, we're good. Because that's the thing that saves that show. And I was not feeling this show at this point. I was feeling down. I was feeling really, really just like, my God, they're going to fuck this up, aren't they? They're going to fuck it up. And I have to say, regardless of the fact that I'm not a fan of the finish, the last match saved it. And that is, of course, the Fatal 4-Way between champion Bork Lame Stick versus the other Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, versus somebody call Arby's because Samoa Joe's got the meats, versus Braun.
That's terrible. It's Braun.
You win. And, dear God, did this match save the show?
It saved the universe. It actually saved the sun from imploding. It saved the galaxy from crashing into ours. It saved Mars from the complete and total destruction. And it qualified Pluto to become a planet again, though it got usurped. That's how much of that match saved everything. I
have to say, regardless of the fact that he did not win, Braun Strowman walked out of that match. He walked out of that match looking like a boss.
He looked strong then, and then we saw Raw as the beginning intro, and he literally came on the audience because that was juice and a half too. But let's dial it back. That Fatal 4-Way, we all played a game, and that is who could put Brock Lesnar to sleep for 10 minutes. So that way they can have a real match to bring him back to the end.
Because Brock needed a nap. Yeah. Brock needed a little nappy there. Brock, he was not.
WWE don't want to admit this, but Brock is no different than Goldberg. He needs his. I can't have a long match.
No. If you remember, I said up until this point, Brock had not had a match that had gone beyond 10 minutes this entire year.
Yeah.
And then this match happened, and of course they have to figure out a way to just deal with him. And that happened in the way of Braun, who put him through not one, but 2 tables, and then dropped another table on top of him. And in between that, he found the time to just start throwing chairs at Roman and Joe.
Samoa, yeah. And also, Brock Lesnar, before he took both tables and a table crush, Roman speared him through the barricade.
Yes.
So that man took serious bumps to put him. And we were trying to figure out who was going to put him to sleep. And I thought, oh, they're going to put him to sleep right now with the barricade. Nope. He got the fuck up, beat the hell out of Roman, and Ron's like, all right, my turn. All right, powerbombing into the first one. Okay, he got up. I thought I was like the whole time when I saw that first table thing, I was like, oh, poor Paul Heyman. He's got to sit on his one bad knee the entire time praying for Brock Lesnar to get back up. And I'm like, oh, he's going to sit like that for 10 minutes? Oh, poor Brock. And then no, Brock's like, no, I want some food. I want to eat the moon. And he's like, and he wakes up and he's like, Braun's like, nope. Pick him up, does his finisher. And what is it? The pump handle power slam has to be
something like that. Yeah, there's a pump handle.
And he just thrashes him right into the first. It was the SmackDown one, I believe. Then it was the Raw one, or was it the German team? The first one.
No, it was the
German team.
It was the Spanish team. Then it was the Raw team, and then he then he freaking flipped over
the Germans.
the German.
Yeah, and then he literally flips over. He just doesn't like take it. I mean, he literally cables in all to like it was like a freaking wall.
Just picked it up and flipped it on top of Brock. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. Boom.
Yeah,
and they carted him out.
On a stretcher.
They carted him completely out on a stretcher. And for a while, it was just Braun and Joe and Roman, and this match was. Like it wasn't like a spot fest like you get with like a Sammy and a KO or an AJ and a Cena or like we got with the New Day and stuff. It was different. It was like cartoony, almost over the top, like crazy feats of power.
Yeah,
and
shit.
But then, just like the moment they said if Brock Lesnar loses, he's going to leave the WWE. The moment they said that, you knew how this match was going to end. Brock comes charging back down. He hits suplexes on everyone but Braun. Eventually, surprisingly, Roman Reigns eats the finish. Your winner. And God damn it, somehow still, you're Universal Champion.
I think the one thing you definitely undercarded before you say the last words there, and that was Brock Lesnar didn't just come in and did all that. He actually, there was some bumps still. Brock took some hits, and even better,
you're right.
Even better is there was a lot of also good moments where even Brock stopped a finish because Samoa had him in the camel
Coquina
clutch, and then eventually that kicked out. Braun Strowman had him in another power slam. Was going to go for the pin on Roman. Brock stops that. He was like, "No, nobody get this title. No." Like he was all around. All-starring the fuck out of false finishing removal and canceling out before he decided, you know what? I'm going to take a couple of smooth man punches in the face like I did at WrestleMania 31, but I'm going to give you that F5, and you're going to lose.
Your winner, Brick Lameser.
He actually did really, really good that night.
He did, but I like.
Look at the last time he was in a more than one-on-one, like the triple threat at Royal Rumble like 2 years ago. That was put Brock to sleep in the corner for the entire match, between John Cena and Seth Rollins.
Well, what they were counting on is that usually when Brock is in a multi-man match, usually he loses. But the problem is that they did that whole Brock is leaving thing, which killed the finish. But, the match was fun. The match was insane. The match probably saved the show, but that was, in fact, SummerSlam 2017.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kane, now's the time. Main show. What do you give it?
I'm going to say this short and sweet. B-.
B-, okay. I can see the B-. All right. I am going to elaborate just a little bit.
Take it away,
I often say that, a match that, how you end the night is worth a letter grade. And in this case, it is indeed worth a letter grade. But don't think I don't see you. Don't think I don't see you, WWE, and what you did. Don't think I didn't see Cass and Show. Don't think I didn't see Orton Rusev. Don't think I didn't see Cena Corbin. And don't think I didn't see Mahal. No.
Fuck your match.
No. I'm calling out the worst matches. And you're going to honestly tell me that Natalya Naomi was worse than Cass and Show, worse than Orton Rusev, worse than fucking Mahal Nakamura, worse than Cena. Like, I will give you that it was not, that it didn't set the world on fire. I will give you that it was not the best match on the card. I will even give you that it is not the best, that it is not, was not the best match of the show. Would you also
give it to me that the pre-cooks did better than that matches?
I will give you that at least 2 of the pre-cook matches were better than that one. I will give it the equal to the Miz Taraj versus the Hardys and Jason Jordan. But I will not say that. I won't say that it was better than Neville Tosawa. It wasn't. I won't say that it was better than Usos New Day. It goddamn well wasn't. But it was not. But it was at least. There were at least 4 matches that were worse than it.
I'll give you this. It was definitely better than Shinsuke and Jinder.
And if it's better than Shinsuke and Jinder, it's better than Enzo and Enzo, Cass and Show. It's better than freaking. Who's It's? Not Who's It's. Orton Rusev. It sure as hell was better than Cena Corbin. So that makes it. So those are 4 matches right there. It's at least the 5th worst. Which means it's at least the 5th best, depending on how many. But regardless of the fact, the main event saved it. Saved it so hard. It really did. But I will sit there and I will say, I will give it, you gave it a B-. I will give it a B+. I like where it went.
Yeah, it's good polar.
I mean, it wasn't the best SummerSlam that we ever saw, but it was most certainly... It was above average. They tried, and in the end, they pulled it off. And with that said, that brings us
to a couple of questions and
the couple of questions, and then the end. Which
I do have to say one thing before we do anything.
Okay.
Did you find it weird that they might have premised a full Shield reunion?
Yeah, you heard me. I was sitting there. I was saying, it's like I was honestly my dark horse position or pick was that Dean and Seth were going to win the match, and then they were going to help Roman win the title, and they were going to be heel Shield. And that would have been awesome. How awesome would that have been?
I know.
I would have gotten behind that.
I still think there's going to be a full Shield reunion in the works, because if you noticed, all of them were color coordinated that night.
They were. They were all wearing red and black.
Yep.
But we do have 3 questions. The first question is, why did they bury Baron Corbin?
This was actually coming from a constant subscriber to our group for watching pay-per-views. His name is Austin, and this was a really good question.
Actually, it's very easy. We alluded to this before, but it bears repeating. Baron Corbin got pissed off a bunch of people. Now, here's the thing, which I don't agree with. They want Baron Corbin to be like a heel. And in the age of social media, he's like being the heel, but he's like never turning off the heelness, which is the way the old school people did it, which is the way people told him to do it, which is fine. But then apparently Big Match John got a little pissy. Apparently Nikki Bella got a little pissy. Apparently Mojo got a little pissy, but that was all fine. He mouthed off to to one of our servicemen. A person on Twitter, and he ended up apologizing later. But that is actually what has triggered all of this stuff. And they're trying to humble him. They're hoping that he rises to the occasion. But if you want to smart off, I mean, it's not really smart if you're going to smart off to the top base of the face of the company, John Cena, or his fiance. It's not really that. I mean, Mojo Rawley, who the fuck cares? But it's one of these things where once he brought like one of the servicemen into it, and let's be honest here, the WWE is all about recognizing servicemen and the people who protect our country. The moment he did that, his fate was sealed, and that's why all of a sudden he's been buried. He's become buried Corbin.
Worse than buried. He lost his Money in the Bank briefcase for over it. And he took a work beating from him at SummerSlam, Cena.
Exactly. Now, the next question is pretty much the same thing. Why did they have Shinsuke lose the way that they did? Simple, easy. they are looking to build Jinder, and they thought they could giving him a tainted win over Shinsuke would give him the rub, which is not the case. And just the fact that right now that we're having a issue that the main story of SmackDown has to deal with the U.S. title and not the world title shows you that Jinder is a paper champion, that he brings the championship down, but it's because of the way they're booking him. It's not his fault. No. It's not his fault. But they are doing him no favors. And they're not doing anything to make him seem better, and they're not doing anything to make him seem like a dominant champion.
And he also had the fullest, better potential than the Great Khali did. Because the first time they tried, I mean, let's face it, this boils down to trying to get a target audience and a market. And they tried doing that with the Great Khali because he was a giant mastodon of a wrestler, or whatever. He's just a giant mastodon. But Jinder actually had the build. He had the look. He had the fighting finesse. He could have made a difference out of this. And in the beginning, he was awesome. I actually loved this whole heel thing he was doing with the Singh brothers. But if you're going to literally song and dance every pay-per-view going forward until the Royal Rumble, where it's fight, Singh brothers, distract, Kalasa hit, game, I'm not gonna.
And then you just drop it, and then you just drop it to Big Match John so that he can surpass Flair.
Yeah, no.
We expect more from you.
No chicken sandwich.
Especially, and I'm telling you, this week I'm gonna. I've had a couple of people who have suggested some stuff. Claudia Steen, Untested Methods. One of the people who I follow on Tumblr. Hey Ambrose, have suggested some things for me to watch. I'm going to start looking at New Japan Pro Wrestling because I keep hearing great things about it. WWE, you need to get your shit together because New Japan is not fucking around anymore. New Japan wants a foothold in the US, and their product is so much better than yours.
It's getting there. It's really getting behind. It's like winter is coming for the WWE right now.
It is. But that brings us to the last question. And the last question, of course, is why was the Intercontinental Champion not defended, but every other title was? And
this also came from another contributor to our podcast, and that is his name is Troy.
All right. Well, Troy, it's actually very simple. It was originally they were going to do a pre-show match with the Miz versus Jason Jordan, and they were actually hoping that the Miz could, elevate Jason Jordan a little bit without dropping the title to him. But the problem was that they didn't have is that the moment the Revival, Scott Dawson got injured, the Hardys didn't have a match anymore, and they want to make sure to get the Hardys on the show. So the Hardys got lumped with Jason Jordan. The Miz has the Mintourage, and it all became a big thing. And that's why it wasn't, because the Hardys needed a program, because the Hardys need to be on SummerSlam, but then you put it at the beginning, and they wrestled in front of 100 people at the Barclays Center because you couldn't get your security straight, and you couldn't be bothered. I will say this much. I did appreciate the fact that WWE stayed on freaking time, and they were done with SummerSlam by 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah, pretty solid.
I'm happy, and I appreciate that. But that's why the Intercontinental Championship was not defended, and obviously you could tell Miz was salty about it because he yelled about it on Twitter after his match on SummerSlam.
True.
But with that said, that brings us to the end of the show. And if you would like to go ahead and you'd like to drop us a line, go ahead and you can hit me up. I am at Faded Saint on Twitter. I am also commysite.tumblr.com if you would like to go ahead and give me some questions there. We have a Discord server. It will be in the description below. If you like what we do, it's also if you like what we do, give us a subscribe, give us a comment. We love hearing feedback. And the next time you guys are going to see us, you're going to see us for No Mercy in a month.
No Mercy.
Have the WWE gotten our memo and are going to chill out a little bit?
I don't know. Right now, there's no SmackDown card. We'll find out.
Do we want to do any predictions or anything for what's about to happen on SmackDown? We're about 15 minutes into SmackDown right now.
Only thing is that I predict that even though Brock Lesnar will win No Mercy, Braun is going to look like he's a god.
They've been doing so much better with
Monday Night Raw in the beginning was so super dope. They made Brock Lesnar look like he's literally 5'5", 150 pounds comparable.
I agree. Braun threw him down around, and
fucking ragdoll.
But it pisses me off for the same reason that Joe and Brock pissed me off. This is a legitimate WrestleMania main event that they are wasting on an off-brand pay-per-view. This is twice now they've pulled this bullshit. Twice. But that's a credit also, because they have made Braun look like $1 million, haven't they?
Make Braun strong.
They've made Braun look stronger than Roman has ever looked.
I mean, hell, he survived an ambulance destroyer. He walked away, not even survived. The motherfucker walked away. Didn't come back. Only took 1 week to regenerate his full strength, and had a fantastic strength SummerSlam, and literally ragdolled the fuck out of Brock Lesnar last night. That man needs to be champion as soon as possible.
I agree.
Give him the IC for a little bit. I don't give a shit. Give him something. Do not Cesaro this man. Do not tag title him and throw him in a corner. You will do something.
Well, it's coming, and it seems like they're committed to the Braun Strowman program. Oh, God. And the fans are for the Braun Strowman program, which is good.
And I have to say this. This is a rare moment where a big guy wrestler is worth looking forward to actually doing something big with him. I mean, look at all the other big guy wrestlers. Taker is like the last one I remember that was like, oh man, he is gigantic, strong, and muscular, and I look forward to watching his matches. I don't think I have said anything about that to anyone else. Like, who else is in his who else is in his height and weight and strength grade that you could say that?
Do you know who Braun reminds me of? He reminds me of the push the Big Show got when he first got in.
Yeah, but Big Show was still shit even when he first came in.
No, I agree with you there because WCW had ruined him. But goddamn, they have just hit all the right notes for him. For all of the wrong that they do with these other people, they do all the right things with him.
Exactly. Exactly.
But with that said, the next time you will talk to us, we will be reviewing No Mercy versus Hell in a Cell. Hopefully SmackDown can get their shit together because they've been on a losing streak with our head-to-heads. Hopefully, by the time we talk to you again, we are going to be having a new Universal Champion. Dear God, please. We need to get that title on somebody who's visible. And we'd like to also go ahead and thank bensound.com for our closing theme, Picnic in the Reactor, that you're about to hear. We'd like to also thank All Arounda for our opening theme, Destruction. Thank you very much, guys. We very much enjoy that. And if you have any questions, I've already given you the social information, and we will. Oh no! Sorry, I forgot my part. I'm your boy, Coming to Faded Saint. That is my boys, Kane Super What Snuka. What? Saying we will see you on the next podcast.
Later, folks.